Okay, real talk here. You are not lazy. You're not broken, and you didn't miss out on some gene that everyone else got that you didn't. You're just waiting on a feeling that was never actually going to show up when you needed it to. Now, I'm talking about motivation. And here's the thing that nobody really tells you about it. Motivation was never built to get you through anything for real. That's not its job. It shows up, it feels great for a minute, and then it's gone. And when it leaves, most people assume something's wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you. You just put your trust in the wrong thing. So today, I want to talk about the thing that actually works instead. Momentum. Because once this clicks for you, you're done waiting to feel ready. Think about the last time you really wanted to change something. Your health, your business, a relationship maybe, or getting your life organized, whatever it was for you. Remember day one. You felt something. You were excited. Everything felt clear, and you probably even said it out loud. Okay, this time's going to be different. That feeling, that's motivation. And it's real. I'm not saying it's fake or silly, but it's chemical. It doesn't last. And honestly, it's a terrible thing to build a plan around. Motivation is a spark, and sparks don't build houses. They don't run a business for you. They definitely don't show up for you on some random Tuesday when nothing's going right and nobody's watching. A spark lights for a second and then it's out. So here's what happens to basically everybody. That spark hits you and you feel amazing. You tell people about the new plan. You buy the notebook. You buy the gym membership or whatever the thing is. First few days, you're unstoppable. Then day 4 shows up and the spark is gone. And this is where people mess up the most because they wait for it to come back. Like it's a phone charger or something that you misplaced somewhere. So they wait. They scroll for something to inspire them or watch another video like this one, hoping it lights the spark back up. The spark is great, but it just doesn't last. Sometimes it works for a few more days, then it's out again. And this cycle just repeats for years sometimes. Not because that person is weak. It's because they built the whole thing on a feeling that was never meant to get you through. It helps you start, but it doesn't get you through. So let's talk about what actually does the job. Momentum isn't a feeling, okay? It's just physics. Honestly, and it applies to your life the same way it applies to anything else. A thing in motion stays in motion. That's not some poster quote. That's just how it works. Once something's moving, it takes way less energy to keep it going than it did to get it started in the first place. Which means this. The hardest rep at the gym is not rep 10. It's rep 1. The hardest sentence to write of your book isn't the last one. It's the first one. The hardest part of any goal isn't somewhere in the middle. It's right at the start before anything's actually moving yet. Motivation tries to fix that with a feeling. Momentum fixes it with movement, tiny movement. So tiny it almost feels dumb. And honestly, that's exactly why it works. Let me give you a picture of this. Say 2 people both decide the same day that they're going to start walking every morning. Person 1 waits to feel like it. They wait for that morning when they wake up and just feel energized and ready to roll. Some mornings that happens, so they go. Most mornings, though, it doesn't, so they stay in bed. And 3 weeks later, they've walked 4 times total, maybe. Now they feel guilty, right? They tell themselves they just don't have the discipline. But that's not it at all. They just didn't have a strategy that could actually hold up. They were waiting on a feeling that shows up whenever it wants, not whenever they need it. Person 2 does it differently. They don't wait to feel anything. They just put their shoes by the door the night before. Morning comes, they don't ask, do I feel like walking today? They just put the shoes on, open the door, and take 5 steps outside. That's it. That's the whole ask. Some days, that's it. 5 steps and then back in. Other days, once they're out there moving, they end up walking 20 minutes. But they did it. 3 weeks later, person 2 has walked almost every day. Not because they had more motivation than person 1. They just stopped requiring themselves to feel a certain way before they were allowed to act. It's like you're waiting for a permission slip or something. That's really the whole secret. Momentum doesn't check in with your feelings first. It just goes. Now, I do want to be honest about something here, because people take this the wrong way sometimes. This isn't about faking energy that you don't have or ignoring real exhaustion. It's not about pushing through actual burnout. That's a whole different conversation, and that matters too. But what I'm talking about is the everyday resistance that shows up before almost anything worth doing. That little voice going, not today, on a totally normal day, where nothing's actually wrong. That's not a sign to stop, it's just friction. And friction responds to motion, not to how you feel about it. Here's another way to look at it. Motivation asks a question first. Do I want to do this right now? And your brain gives an opening to talk you out of it. Your brain's really good at that, especially with first steps. But momentum, it skips the question entirely. Instead of, do I want to? It's just, I'm already doing it. You don't ask a ball that's already rolling if it wants to keep going. It's rolling. All you're doing is giving it a little push before it has a chance to stop. Now, this is also why the size of your first step matters so much, and why a lot of people accidentally set themselves up to fail. They pick a huge first step. I'm working out an hour a day starting now, or I'm writing a whole chapter tonight. I'm redoing my entire budget this weekend. That's not a first step. That's like step 10. Of course it feels impossible. You're trying to skip the part where the ball is still sitting completely still. So make the first step small enough that it feels almost too easy to even count. Not because small is the whole point, but because small is what actually gets you moving in the first place. Once you're moving, your energy for it just goes up on its own. You don't have to talk yourself into doing anything. Momentum handles that part. All right, so 3 things you can actually use today. First, shrink that first step down until skipping it feels silly. If it's exercise, the first step isn't a workout. It's just putting your shoes on. If it's writing, it's not a chapter. It's opening the document and typing 1 sentence. If it's your money, it's not a full budget. It's just opening the app and maybe looking at 1 number. The first step was never supposed to be progress. It's just supposed to get you moving. The progress comes after that, not before. Second, stop waiting. Stop waiting on the feeling and start noticing the pattern instead. Motivation isn't something you need before you start. It shows up after. You'll see this once you start paying attention. Just notice. The version of you that didn't feel like doing anything, 5 minutes in usually feels different. Not because you tricked yourself. No. Just because moving creates energy that sitting still never will. And third, protect the streak. Not the intensity. This one's big. On the days when you've got energy, do more. On the days you don't, do less, but don't do nothing. 5 minutes on a rough day is not a failure. That's literally what keeps things alive until an easier day rolls back around. The people who actually pull off big changes almost never went the hardest. They just never fully stopped. Here's something worth thinking about for a second. Every big change that you've ever admired in somebody, their body, their business, their whole mindset, their life, none of that happened because they felt motivated every single day for months or years straight. That's not even possible for a person. It happened because on the days they didn't feel like it, they still moved a little. And that little bit kept the chain going. And honestly, you've probably already proven this to yourself without noticing it. Think of anything that you've kept up for a long time. A job, a relationship, some habit you don't even think about anymore, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone in the morning first thing. You're not motivated to do those things every day. You just do them because the pattern's already ingrained. It's in motion. And things already in motion take a lot less to keep going than things that are starting and stopping over and over. That's available to you for whatever you're trying to build too. Not through more motivation, through smaller starts and fewer full stops. So if there's something that you've been circling for weeks, months, or maybe even longer, waiting to feel ready, waiting for that mood to hit, and waiting for that spark so that you can finally start, I want you to reconsider that now. Because that spark was never coming to save the whole thing. It was never built to carry it all the way to the end. You don't need to feel ready. You need to move in whatever small way that you've got available today. Not the big version, not the impressive version, just the version that gets the ball rolling. Because once it's rolling, it doesn't need you to feel any certain way to keep it going. It just needs you to not stop it. That's momentum. And it beats motivation every single time. So if this shifted something for you, stick around. This channel is built for exactly this. Real tools for actually moving your life forward without waiting around for permission or some perfect feeling to show up first. This is the Bold Life Suite. I'm Joanne, and I'll see you in the next one.